Hi, I'm Erica Wofford. I've been reporting almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in September. And I'm a freelance reporter. I cover administrative hearings for the state most of the time. That's me. I forgot to mention that I'm in Cedar Park, which is a suburb of Austin. So I go downtown quite a bit, and I will definitely be at convention. That's what we're highlighting this time is the convention that's going to be on it starts on the 4th of September and goes through the 6th. So it starts on a Thursday in the afternoon, I think at like after lunch, and then Friday and then Saturday. If you can make it, I would definitely recommend that you should try because it's such a great way to network. That's how I met Abby a couple years ago and what I recognize her from when we went to San Antonio. And it's these relationships and these connections that you follow up on years down the line, even that could lead to good jobs. Maybe an official position. Just those connections are so worthwhile, and it's how you do it is in person at conventions. So we're kind of pushing convention a little extra. Just because it's such a good opportunity, especially for students to reach out, get a little uplift, a little change of scenery, a little kick in the butt maybe of like, oh, okay, there's all these people that have done it. They've all passed the test. I can do it too. So I would love to see you guys there. But what I've got to share is to help in your networking, if everything is going smoothly, is a little presentation on business cards. So when I was a student, I made business cards for myself to bring to the convention just to hand out because I moved to Texas while I was still in school in my high speed. So I moved here not knowing anybody, and convention was like one of my first times reaching out and getting to know people in Texas. I had my mentor, everything all set up in Georgia, and I thought I was going to work and graduate in Georgia, but then my husband's job moved us out to Texas. So it was kind of like, okay, here we go. So I better get to know people out here. And I thought a good way to make a good impression was to make some just cheap business cards. So hopefully, I don't know, some of you young people might not recognize the gift, but from American Psycho, but he freaks out about, the weight of this business cards with the fancy typewriting. And it doesn't have to be fancy. I'm going to show you like the easiest, cheapest possible way to do business cards. I went to Amazon. This is the link. And you can just type in business cards, Avery business cards in Amazon. This one is $8.52. Super cheap. If you have a printer, you can print these out. It's just normal. It just feeds through your printer. And 90 was more than enough. I think I still even have them in my drawer somewhere. So you don't need that many, but I would recommend like 50 at least. But this package just comes with the 90. And then, so if you buy the package, the Avery business cards, then you just have to download the template. So you just Google Avery template, and the one that's shown here is use Avery template 28878. So that's what I did, and that's the link. And then you just go here, you download the Word document, super easy. And then you just fill out one of the squares. This is the completed template. But this is the example, because I kept it in my files, the business cards that I made before going to my first convention as a student. I found out at convention that I passed the CSR. So I went in thinking I was still a student. I hadn't graduated or anything yet. So I put hopefully soon to be CSR and RPR because I hadn't found out about the RPR either. So I was getting a little ambitious. But then about halfway through convention on Saturday, I found out that I passed the CSR. So, I really was soon to be. So I just tried to add some information here. I'll go through on the next slide what I put in here. This is more just showing the template and what it looked like once I filled it out. I recommend just filling out one segment and then printing it to test out how it'll look. And then if it's kind of wonky on the page or it's, it's bleeding over into the next business card, just fix that up and repeat that process until you're happy with how it's printing out. And then just copy and paste this first segment into all the other ones. You don't have to redo it in every single one. Just, highlight it, Control C, Control V into all the other segments. Make it easy for yourself. So what information should you include? Number one is your name at the top. I would put it clear in bold. Make sure they see your name first thing on the business card. I put ACP after. I mean, nobody really knows what that means, but it's Advanced Certified Paralegal. And so I was starting to add my alphabet after my name. I was like, I promise I can do things. So I kind of just put what I had at the time after my name. So that's why you see the ACP there. Then after, are you a student? I would put, I'm a steno student, so a writer student or a voice student, whatever, if you want to clarify that. Maybe put what speed you're working on. Since I was taking the test and waiting for the results, I did not put the speed. So that might be a good idea if you're in theory or mid speeds or high speeds, maybe including that just so when people get a little shot of your situation right now on the business card, they can see where you're at. And then what certifications are you working on? I put the Texas CSR and the National, the RPR. I put the name of the school that I went to, the College of Court Reporting out of Indiana. And nobody was very familiar with that one. So I don't know if it helped me or hurt me, but since there's so many Texas schools, it's helpful if you put Kissingbury and maybe somebody's like, oh, I learned some of that theory, or I don't know, it can start a conversation. I know if I saw somebody that had College of Court Reporting, I'd be like, oh my gosh, finally a fellow alum or somebody else that's going to the same school. So yeah, I think that's a good idea to put the name of the school. Definitely put your contact information because, I mean, that's the whole point of the business card, right? Is to get your name out there and for them to be able to contact you in the future, checking up or vice versa. Make sure you put your email address. I actually made this email address before I went to that convention because the email address I had and I still use for my personal stuff is based off of my maiden name. And so I had gotten married and I just never updated my email address. So I definitely suggest making a professional email address. This one isn't the one that I use now, but it looked nicer on the card than Roses and Berries, which is my maiden name was Rosenberry. And yeah, Roses and Berries isn't like as professional. So take the time, make a new email address, and you can have it forwarded. When you set it up, you can have the new email address forwarded to your old email address. There's ways to do that. Definitely put your phone number and then put the city you live in or area you live in if that's more helpful for people to recognize where in Texas, because I still am learning every single day new cities that pop up all over Texas that I've never heard of. So Texas is a big state, or if you're coming from out of state, just don't put your full address. You don't need that much information on there. I'd say just put a general area and your email and your phone. And that should be sufficient. For the back of the business card, I just literally Googled business card designs. And I just went down, and I think this was a part of a design that I liked. So I used my snipping tool. I think the snipping tool is on every computer, and the little symbol looks like that, and you just pull it up. Here, I can show you. So I just opened up my snipping tool, and then you can take a screenshot of something, and then you can copy and paste it into your Word document. So this was a portion of design. You don't have to have anything on the back of the business card, but I thought it looked pretty, especially because I had so little information on the front of the card, and I had like the little design there. I was like, well, I might as well look pretty on the back. So that's an option. And then I just wanted to show you what my current business card looks like now that I've got the whole alphabet after my name. And I have my LLC now. I've got all my numbers. And I actually had a friend who works for a print shop. She had this made for me. And then I write on a pink writer. So, and then this is a desert rose because that's the name of my LLC. So you can really like customize it and make it fancy. But I think that's, yeah, that was it for me. But hopefully that helps you get an idea of how to do a cheap business card. It's really worth the time to make that because it makes such an impression on somebody when, especially a student has a business card and is introducing themselves. That would leave an impression with me, I know. So that's it for me.